Hi, everybody. Welcome to Find Your People and Increase Your Sales. We're excited to be presenting second class of social school. And I think Angeline really loves this subject.
It's my favorite.
It's
Yes.
her favorite. She is going to take the lead on a lot of this. I also like it, but she explains it so well that I love listening to her talk about it. But the one thing that you're going to hear us talk about over and over again is identifying that one customer and speaking to her always or him. And there's going to be some feedback in your mind. You're going to be like, I don't know. And just hear us out. And I think by the end of this, you're going to be sold on really drilling down to that one customer, talking to them. And then we're going to give you some applied practice at the end. You'll get that in your email where you can literally go through and answer a series of 20 questions and know exactly who your ideal customer is by the end of it. So let's get started. Okay. Identifying that one person, identifying your audience. Again, you're going to drill down. And just because you're talking to one person doesn't mean that you're leaving everyone out. I promise. And that leads me to the next slide. There are three very, very common arguments that Angeline and I get from people, and we've heard over and over again. And hell, I've said it too. So I completely get it. And these are things that have come out of my mouth as well. I don't want to leave anyone out. I have a diverse customer base. I don't just sell to one person. Or I just want to do me. Why can't I just do me? Why do I have to talk to one person? That puts me in a box, right? And of course, I don't like that. But these arguments are what we all feel. But we're going to try to show you how to overcome those feelings, because when you don't want to leave anyone out, you're actually, by speaking to everyone, you're not speaking to anyone in particular. So your message falls flat and sounds generic. You have a diverse client base. I do too. I mean, we do. Angeline and I have a diverse client base. In our personal businesses, we have a little bit more specificity in who we're talking to. But in this business, all small business owners, hello, we want to appeal to everyone too. But pick your ideal client and just speak to him or her. Trust us. I just want to do me. It's about your customer, not you. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but you should absolutely do you while simultaneously recognizing the unique quirks and parts of your client. So it's important that you are your own voice in what you're writing. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to pretend that you're talking to one person. That's it. So you want to think of your top favorite client. You think of her or him in your mind, and you think about what you have in common with them. You literally pick a person that you've dealt with or talked to or worked with. I wouldn't say dealt, that sounds negative. The clients that you love getting phone calls from, text messages, emails, custom reviews, take that person and ask yourself, why do you love to work with them?
It's almost like finding your dream client, right? Like, who do you really, really want to work with? And maybe you haven't had that favorite customer yet. But right now, it's who do you think you want to work with? And then once you start attracting those people, getting this information from them through surveys and questions and talking to them is going to be really valuable. But at this point, we may be hypothesizing a little bit, thinking about what we think they may want, so it's kind of hypothetical at this point, if you're just starting out, and that's okay. So don't feel like, I don't know what she really wants, or I don't know what we're going to talk about all that.
Yeah. And I think that the way that I did this in the very beginning, I didn't even know I was doing it, is my ideal client was me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to be around people that are like me, that like the same things that I like. And so why can't I expect that of my customer base? Because I work so closely with them that it's important that we have commonality and that we like each other. So if it is a hypothetical, think about who you are and answer these questions with regards to you. And you're actually building your customer avatar, and you can just name them something other than Brooklyn or whatever your name is. So you ask yourself things like, what are their beliefs? How old are they? Are they married? Their ethnicity? How much money do they make? Not because you're like, oh, I only want the rich people, but because when you know how what their finances are like, you can later identify maybe some of their financial pain points. And a person with more money has more responsibility. So when you have more, you have a lot more to lose. And that stress is different than survival mode. And so you just, those kinds of things help you later on. What are
Mhm.
their favorite magazines? What's their upbringing like? I'm trying to just think of lots of different things. TV shows, that's going to come in handy here in a second. So you want to name them. And then the way that I do it is I cut out an image of some lady in a magazine, or I find one on the internet, I print it out and I cut it out and I tape it to the wall in front of me. So right at my line of sight behind my computer screen is a picture of a lady, and I talk to her, and that is my ideal client. So when you post, when I write, when I go live, I'm literally thinking like I would in a coffee shop setting, or like with Angelin and I, when we're just sitting here talking and going through these slides together, I genuinely feel like I'm talking to my ideal client, and Angela and I are sitting there at a coffee shop table. So I want you to do that when you write posts, emails, when you go live.
Mhm.
So this is my little example. I again like to talk to me. So I talk to stressed out Frisco moms on a diet between the ages of 35 and 44 who work from home doing something, whatever that is. Sometimes it's like a little bit of everything, that make about 150,000 a year, are Christian, but also like shows like Yellowstone, Dateline, and Peaky Blinders.
And probably
And
cuss a little.
probably cuss a little, or like the F word, or whatever.
Yeah.
uh I should have put that, but I didn't have any room. But she's very right. Outside the confines of a recorded class. So with that in mind, here are a couple of examples of posts that I wrote recently so we're recording this class. These were within the last week and a half. And one was about state fair foods that I'm going to eat next Wednesday, which when you're on a diet, you're hungry. And so I tell myself, I didn't eat dinner last night so that I could eat the peanut butter paradise at the state fair on Wednesday. And I think that my ideal client wants to know about that too. I was right, because that was a very high performing post. And then this little ditty over here on the right is none other than Beth, who is a bad A, and we really like her. And all that I said in my caption was a crying face emoji. That's all I said. But the post itself, or the media that I added, was me trying to raise kids, exercise, excel at my work, not be broke, stay hydrated, get enough sleep, maintain the house, and not lose my ever loving mind. So we're just going to skip to the next slide. My engagement last week, I'm sorry, my we're not going to go there because I can't really read that small. I meant my Facebook page reach. That means the amount of people that saw my crap on Facebook went up 442%.
That's because it got engagement from your audience, and then Facebook started showing it to more. And that
Yes.
is the power of speaking to your audience.
Power of speaking to your audience. Keep that in mind. Keep this in mind later when we talk about what talking to your ideal audience and appealing to their pain points is going to do. 32,713 people saw that. Okay. Or saw my post that week. because I increased my engagement. And on Instagram, I went up 121% and I reached 49,000 plus people. So it's very important that you speak to your ideal audience. Now,
Mhm.
here's a little funny for you. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I do have some experience with Real Housewives. And recently, Sutton accidentally sent the wrong text to the wrong guy, or maybe that was Erica Jane. I don't know. But either way, they are in the dating world and they are online dating. And they were saying something to this one guy, and it went to the wrong guy that they had been trying to ignore. And he was like, wow. So it was very, very awkward, right? So when you know who you're talking to, you know what not to say. In my little meme I made here, that moment you realize you sent a text to the wrong person can be awkward. And if you are experiencing crickets on your Facebook page, it's because you're sending the wrong text to the wrong person. Means that you need to identify your audience, speak to that one person, and you know exactly what to say, and they will give you positive feedback when they hear it. So, let's hand it over to Angeline. She's going to talk to you for the next, 10 slides or so about starting with one person.
Okay, so you may be thinking at this point, like, I don't even know. Maybe let's start with an easy one. Let's say let's use Brooklyn as an example. She's got this, this mom, 40-year-old mom. We're going to be talking about her for a little while. But why would you want to just laser in, niche down? Why do you want to do that? Well, I know you're probably thinking, but I can serve so many other people. But truly, when you start with your one person, Jamie the realtor, whoever your identified person is, it's easier for you to create your messaging over and over again. When we talked about your content buckets last week, that is what you're going to talk about. Now we're kind of into the how we're going to say it. And when you know who your client is, then it changes the filter about what you say about everything. It also creates fans because that person is going to resonate so hard with your messaging.
Really hard.
So hard that they're going to be such good fans of yours, and they're going to be like almost like disciples for you. They're going to spread the word. They're going to create more fans, and that is how you grow. And we've just seen a great example of how Brooklyn has done that. Once you have nailed it with that 40-something-year-old mom, you can then try a campaign with something totally different. Maybe the new grandma or whatever, like that age demographic and that messaging. You can start like a new campaign, if you will, another target audience, you can expand. But first, nail one and then move on. Okay.
Yes. And I want to add to that. When she says start with the one, it makes it easier. If now that I know who my audience is, when I'm searching up for funny memes, they're going to include Rip and Beth, right? Because I know what my ideal audience watches, or Peaky Blinders and Tom. So it's very, very easy to Google what you need to speak to them when you know what they like. If I was just using a generic woman there and not Beth, that post would not have well.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And again, to just talking about the voice. Okay. So not only does this talk about the end user, but it talks about the way that it helps you formulate your voice and the way that you're going to post, the way that you're going to go live, everything that you're going to say. Brooklyn and I were just talking before we got on this recording about how when she was writing with her, teaching her students how to write a paper when she was a teacher, it was about who your audience is. Who are you writing a letter to the school board, or are you writing something to your classmates? It's the same kind of thing. The way that you speak to your audience is going to be very, very different. Let's say you are a roofer, you own a roofing company, and you maybe you have it could be that you're client is a professional dad who works during the day. He's home after 5 and on weekends. And what he values is efficiency and professionalism, a great price. He wants to feel like he's getting a good price. Or is that your audience? Or is your decision maker audience the stay-at-home mom who is managing the household while her husband is at work? And what is important to her is safety, security,
Time.
Yes, easy, that personal connection. So your product is the same, but the way that you now message your social media and your marketing is going to be different, right? Okay, so that's a good example of how your messaging and your voice is going to matter. So let's take an example. I'm actually going to use, I'm just going to pretend that I sell nutritional products, okay? And whatever company I represent. My target audience that I'm choosing right now is a woman who's 40-year-old. We're going to use Brooklyn's kind of same avatar. Mom of 2, works a corporate job. She loves wine night with her girlfriends, but spends most of her time immersed in her kids' activities and schedules. We've all been there. Tries to have date night with her husband a couple times a month, but they're very busy, so it's not easy. She wants to eat well and tries to feed her family nutritious meals. She does okay with that. She would love to lose 10 pounds, but doesn't feel like she had much time or energy to do so. Okay. So she's kind of always looking for the easy button. All right. So now that you know this about her, keep in mind that you want to sell them what they want, not what you think they need. So let's use an example of the nutritional products. Let's say I think what she needs is,
Vitamin B.
I was going to say supplements that include, yes, lots of vitamin C. But what they actually want is just to look and feel better with the easy button, right? So rather than me saying you need these vitamins, it's almost like features and benefits conversation, right? You want the benefits, not the features.
Oh, that's really good. So instead of saying you need a vitamin B complex,
right?
Instead of saying, oh, you're missing your collagen in your skin because you're getting old or whatever. Okay. You're telling them that you'll look youthful.
Yes.
And
we're going to dive into that exact example here.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. But okay. So what keeps my customer up at night? As you are identifying, all the things that Brooklyn said earlier, kind of those surface level things. Who is she or who is he? Here's where it gets really good and powerful. Okay. What keeps my customer up at night? What is she worried about? Is it money? Is it FOMO? Is it her weight? Is it her health? Is it failure? Is it her own personal identity? Is it nutrition? All of those things. What is worrying her? And keep in mind, you do not have to write every worry that you think that your customer avatar has. We're looking more through the lens of a product that you can serve, a way that you can serve them. Okay. So I don't think you have to write out everything, but let's use her examples. So again, I'm selling nutritional products in this example. So her worries that might apply to me. She feels like she's aging faster than she should. She can't really keep up. She's happy, loves her family, but she knows she puts herself last and really could use something for herself. Again, that identity. Money isn't a huge stress, but the extras always seem to go towards her family. So very rarely does she treat herself, right? And then the other biggie is what's her dreams? Like what would make her really happy? Like, honestly, it's just something that feels like that could be her very own. Whether it's a yoga class or a wine night with her friends, or a new business for herself, or that new Tory Burch bag that she wants, like what would make her really happy? Like having something that feels like her own, reconnecting to herself. Ooh, that says dealing confident. I should say feeling confident. But beautiful again. We needed our glasses this morning. She is not just an overworked mom. Okay. So those are the things that she dreams about. She kind of wishes she had more time to do. Love from her husband, all the things. Okay. So how are you going to write copy? How are you going to message and all the things that you do to this woman? Let's call her Jamie. I called her Jamie earlier. Here's a good tip. Be subtle. You don't want to sit there in your post and say, my product is great for overworked moms who need to do something for themselves. It kind of sounds really bad, like bad marketing, right? Instead, you want to kind of subtly call out her pain points and identify her. It's kind of like those, those funnies that you see now. They're saying, like, tell me you're from Texas without saying you're from Texas. Right? Okay. So that's kind of the thing. So here's a good example.
So this is saying that you're overworked mom in your 40s that feels older than she is, but you're not saying it.
You're not calling it out and labeling it that. But when she reads this, she's going to go, oh my God, that's me. Just like that Beth Dutton post, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's an example. This would be like a caption post. Our to-do lists are insane. And when are we supposed to squeeze in that Orange Theory class? At least I can start checking some boxes for my health with this easy scoop of collagen in my coffee each morning. I should have said before we started this that now we're going to talk about, like, let's take one product. Okay. So again, bubbling out in your nutritional products on your buckets. Let's focus on the collagen in your nutritional line for
one product.
Okay.
One person.
We're not talking about the entire nutritional line. So these following examples are going to be referencing the collagen product and how you can speak to her. Again, please know that I don't sell nutritional products. I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is just an example. Okay. So
we just grabbed this one out of the air and we're like, let's do this one.
Yes, at 5:00 this morning. Okay. So this is a great post of, saying, like, again, maybe identifying yourself, or maybe you could make it more about them and say, yeah, I know your to-do list is insane and you probably don't have time to catch that Orange Theory class, but hey, at least you can check this box with the collagen. So you can make it either way. I think it sounds good. Whether you were doing a reel about yourself or if you're, you could do either way, but this type of messaging.
And the visual that I get with this is me this morning, literally making my kids lunch and getting them off to school. Actually, that was yesterday morning, but, doing something mom-ish that will also visually represent being busy and doing for others and not doing for ourselves. But that morning routine where you could easily just put a scoop and drink your coffee and you're done.
At least it's one little thing you can do for yourself, right? Okay. So again, which of your products or services would make her really happy?
The person you're talking to.
Yes. So again, this is your mom and you're looking at all of your products that you sell, the collagen is a great one. Why? Because you really do see a visible result from that product pretty quickly. Okay. So again, she needs quick wins. She needs easy button.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the things, some of the ways that you could message this product to reach to her. Thick, shiny hair, glowing skin, and strong nails just from a scoop of collagen in my coffee. Oh, yes, please. Right? That is something that mom would say. So again, you're speaking her language. LBH, which if you don't know what that means, it's let's be honest.
I had to look it up.
Yeah. LBH, let's be honest. You feel more confident when you know your hair is gorgeous and you get all the compliments on your glowing skin. What? I was up until 2 a.m. Right? That's how we feel. Adding collagen to your coffee, first cup only, is one thing you can do to make your body better, even if you did skip that workout this morning again.
I love it.
Collagen, when you need that little wow, you look gorgeous boost.
Yes.
Right? Again,
that one's my favorite. I need a wow, you look gorgeous every once in a while.
Yeah. And yeah, by the way, I do love that collagen. It really does help. Anyway, so this is just some examples of when you really know your client, how you can message them. Okay, let's talk about pain points.
Oh, that's me. All right. If you don't understand your customers' pain points, how are you going to solve their problems? I'm going to say this a couple of times throughout, but it's kind of like when going to apply for a new job, which I know in the world of the people we're talking to, most of us are entrepreneurs. because we don't like working for someone else. But
Amen.
if you have to go work for someone else and you go to apply for that job, you first think, what do they need, right? What are they looking for in me? How can I be of service to that company? Then you write your resume according to the skills and attributes that you have that will best fill the position. So that's the way this is. Pain points are basically if you treat your customer like your employer, because they are, when you're an entrepreneur, your customer is who keeps you in business. So your customer is your employer. So what do they need? How can you best be of service to them? It is the same damn thing, literally. We're just using different words. So keep in mind, it's all about writing the resume. But every single post that you write is a little part of that resume that is filling a need in your client, who is your employer. So the 4 pain point categories. I was doing some research. I saw someone say this. I don't know who it was, but I boiled down a big honkin' article to these 4 points: process, support, financial, and productivity. Help me with my process, support me, hold my hand, make it valuable to me. Because if I'm going to give you money, then I want to know that I'm getting something of value in return. And help me with my productivity, increase my ability to do more with less. So those are the main categories of pain points that people have. And let's talk about how to solve that, the solutions of these 4. Make life easier for Jamie. Provide her with some real time help. Show her the value of the collagen. You give me $35, I'm going to make you look like a beach angel. Save her time and energy. Okay. She's busy. She's wearing her yoga pants, but she hasn't ever actually been to yoga. And she is having to walk her kids to school. She's got guacamole on her shirt, and she didn't even have time to get ready. So at least she can go through her day saying that collagen's in my body and it's making me look more beautiful. So this is way you solve her problems. You make life easy for
It's
her.
so much so that you can imagine her sitting at lunch with her coworkers and bragging about her collagen,
Yeah.
which is exactly what you want, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Which is right here. I love that. It's like we're on the same wavelength. So if you are not appealing to a pain point, like solving a problem, then at least appeal to her emotions. And if you appeal to her emotions, you're increasing her engagement. I don't know if you saw the look on Beth's face, but she was pissed off and exhausted, which is pretty much the whole story of Yellowstone. But that's why you love it, because you're like, I'm pissed off and exhausted too, all the time. People are just too peoply sometimes, and that's the way Beth feels. So the look on her face and the fact that that whole show evokes emotion, and the actual post itself about trying to do all these things, we're overwhelmed, but it increased engagement. I think that thing got shared 150 times.
Because it resonated.
It resonated. Yeah, because I was appealing to your emotions, and I wasn't solving any problems.
Right.
Beth didn't solve any problems in that post. But it also boosted brand loyalty, because there was like over 400 women now. They're like, hey, if she was my neighbor, we would be friends because she watches Yellowstone and she gets me. And the more that people feel like y'all could be friends if y'all knew each other in real life, and like close the screen and like, oh, there she is, then that positively affects the buying journey. And what I was telling Angela before we got on this call, when we were kind of going through these, that looks like this for me. I will go to TJ Maxx and I will be there because I have to buy something, not because I'm a good shopper or even like shopping. I get a lot of anxiety. And then by the time I'm halfway through that big honkin' line down the center of the store, I have put about 20 things back, because I'm like, do I really need that? Oh, if I take that off, I'll save $20. Oh, I already have a black pair of pants. And I talk myself out of everything. But when I go to my friend's cabbie party or my friend's jewelry party, I'll drop $300 and I will not talk myself out of it because I have that brand loyalty because I'm friends with the person I'm buying it from, and I know that my money is going to go support them. So when you take your followers and you turn them into friends, people feel good about buying stuff from you and they want to buy more and support you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to kind of throw this in here. I know this seems a little out of place, but let's just be real. Writing your bio is freaking hard. It is, what do I say? Do I start at the beginning, like, from birth? Or do I like talk about my high school? Or what about that one time when I was 8? You don't know where to start and what parts are important. But if you identify who your audience is, then you know parts of you and your story to highlight in your bio that will resonate with them. So this right here is a little page literally out of our bio workshop that will be coming later on in life for you. But just a little taste. When you identify who you help, identifying who you are, how you help, and how they can work with you is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking to no one in particular, here's a little generic, thing you might have seen if you've hired someone to do your own marketing. And they're like, "We're going to make engaging posts." Well,
Mm-hmm.
they're just pulling out of a
It's just
spreadsheet.
trash,
It's
honestly.
trash. It is literally a colossal waste of time. Where's your favorite place to go on vacation? You're going to get crickets on this. No one, it's going to be as boring as this slide is because it's not very cute. It's just going to be like, wham, wham. No one's going to see it. You're going to get 2 engagements or 2 reaches.
Right.
Like I was going to say,
Yeah.
reached 2 people, and you're going to be depressed. But if you tell your person a story, remember the lady who's on a diet with me and that likes Yellowstone? When I was 8, my parents took me to Switzerland with frequent flyer miles my dad's friend had. Okay, that's telling my person that I wasn't born rich. We didn't get to go to big things, but we did get to do this one big thing when I was little. We would have never been able to go without those miles, but anyway, all right. My mom found out she was pregnant right before we left and was so nauseated the whole time. To this day, she thinks Europe is the worst place on planet Earth. Did you know they don't have AC in Switzerland? So that tells you about, how far apart I am from my sibling, that I have siblings, that I have a mom, that she hates Switzerland, that I loved it. And, just about her being hot the whole time or something. I don't know. But someone somewhere in my group of followers is going to resonate with this.
Well, and it's just flat more interesting because you
Mm-hmm.
told a story, not just asked a stupid trashy engagement question that will never work. So
Right, right.
it's much more powerful.
Yep. So, to wrap all this up with a pretty little bow, we have created some homework, but let's not call it homework. I don't want you to get bogged down on that. It's really just your opportunity to be led through a series of questions that will allow you to identify your customer avatar, your ICA. And this is going to be in your inbox. It's already with this class, and you can just click the link in your email. And it literally leads you through identifying your customer avatar. If I'm your ideal customer, then say, think of Brooklyn and answer all the questions. I'm pretty much an open book. If some of these questions you can't answer, then maybe it will tell you a little something different about how deep you're going with your clients. And you need to get off the surface and go deeper with them to understand who they are. Ask them questions about themselves, make them feel special. So when you're going through these 20 questions or 15, however many it is, if you can't answer the questions, then you might need to rethink um, how you're talking to your clients and how much you're talking to them, and how you're making them feel by not asking them questions that go deeper onto a friend level.
Right. And then you can share some of the, like your ideal customer avatar, your ICA. If you want to share some of that in the Facebook group, or ask a question of some of the other people there that say, hey, I'm thinking about this, I also have a question about this. That's your space to kind of connect with your other classmates, if you will. So share there. That'd be great.
Yep, I love that. Yes, and I love our Facebook group. I'm ready to kind of see some engagement in there. So definitely, if you haven't already joined that group, go join it and talk about your customer avatar in there, and we will give you real-time feedback, Jamie,
Right.
plumber, whoever you are. But
Mm-hmm.
we really enjoyed today, and I appreciate you sticking with us till the end, and we will see you for the next class. Have a great day. Bye.